Good viewers, the hardship in Nigeria is becoming absolutely unbearable. The Nigerian Labour Congress have said that there is no going back on the planned strike tomorrow being 2nd of August 2023.
Our peaceful rally will go on as scheduled. Even if we didn't have this problem and we decide to hold a rally, we still hold our rallies. So this rally has been fixed for 2nd, and we'll go ahead to hold our rally.
So, the strike has been declared. From 12 a.m. in the midnight today, there will be strike. And not only that, the Nigerian Labour Congress has also planned how they are going to protest tomorrow. I'm using this opportunity to ask the workers to strictly comply with the Nigerian Labour Congress. This fight is for you. It's not just for the government. It's not just a fight against the government. It is a fight to enable the government to act swiftly to solve the problem arising from this fuel subsidy, inflation, and a lot of hardship from across the country. This video has the details about the reason for the planned strike tomorrow and the justification of the strike. Watch to the end.
Willingness to go ahead with the planned protest?
Our peaceful rally will go on as scheduled. Even if we didn't have this problem and we decide to hold a rally, we still hold our rallies. So this rally has been fixed for 2nd, and we'll go ahead to hold our rally.
I don't know whether you were able to listen to parts of what the president said or is saying. I know one of your key demands has been the implementation of CNG. And the president is announcing that it's providing 100 billion naira for 3,000 CNG fueled mass transit. Will this have any impact on what you are doing?
That 3,000 will be for Lagos. And we have 36 states and FCT. So if that is, because I have not listened to it, if that is the situation, 3,000 buses, and that even will not go to rural areas.
He's also saying that he's going to monitor the impact of inflation and high gas prices. And if need be, he may intervene.
As part of macroeconomic policies or what? By the time you have a single market and then you are not having anything that has comparative advantage, you are even energy is import driven. And then how are you going to control it? How are you going to control somebody that exchange dollar at the extent of maybe 900? Are you going to tell him to sell at below the price? How are you going to tell even NEPA today, with the cost of production, not to increase tariff? Even corn in the villages that was sold at 18,000 by February, now is about 56,000. How are you going to control it? How you control the woman that goes from the house and transportation increase 3 times to reduce the cost of Gary? So we need to, understand all those things, probably because we have not listened to Mr. President's speech. By the time we listen to it, we understand, where that is going to. But it's important that you have mentioned this, for us to equally tell you how we have. And we're talking about practical economics. Unless you tell us the issue of checking the production, and then the refineries working, producing locally, the CNG option, taken care of, which will bring down cost of transportation. By the time you do all these things, you can gradually see, then what is the cost, purchasing power of the worker? Can a worker still go to work?
But what are the measures in place to ensure that the protest is not hijacked by government?
Well, that one is simple. The NLC have been in the barricade for years. Our protests cannot, because I don't know of any number of people that are more than us that will come there and hijack our protests. Unless somebody is going to instigate that. The NLC rallies and protests have never in the history been hijacked. But this language, each time we want to protest, that's the language we hear, that our protests will be hijacked. Now, when you have an information, as a security personnel, police, DSS, whatever, it's their duty to provide security for us, to make sure that it's not hijacked. And that's the duty of the Nigerian police and the DSS. And I hope that in this particular instance, they will provide security for us so that this protest will be peaceful in the light of what is happening. But I think the dividends are coming up with maybe some of the Mr. President's promises, because we have lived in this country where promises are not translated to reality. So, but we hope, that things will change.
Through with them saying there might be no going back with tomorrow's actions?
Well, what I will say is that the die is cast. And there's a certainty in the air. Even the president in his speech realized that. Because he used a quotation from Chief Obafemi Awolowo, our hero here, who when he was sentenced for treasonable felony said, "I now go from twilight to darkness, unshaking my belief that the glorious dawn will come tomorrow." That was what Tinubu said yesterday. That there will be pains, but there will be happiness at the end of it all. Well, that is on the side of government, a plea for understanding. But on the side of the unions too, you have to realize that they have a responsibility to their followers. They have a responsibility to show the nation and those who put them there that they are not kowtowing to government. Get me? By not literally forcing government to make sure that it puts palliatives on the table for Nigerians. Because they have a case. He's saying that they were not consulted before the fuel subsidy was removed. And again, they said as at the time they started negotiation, the fuel price was 150 naira. 500 naira or something like that. But now it has gone to 600 or something, and nobody spoke with them. But I'm happy the president to acknowledge in his speech that some market forces that are ruling Nigeria. That we said if it is necessary, we will intervene. That's all we have always tried to say here. And then, remember we were talking the other day, we were talking of walking the talk. He even said it, I had him, that he's ready to walk the talk. And I've always said that you can only hold politicians responsible for what they say and how they perform in office. That is the measure of responsiveness. And he has promised, you have to give him benefit of doubt. As for Labour, in my view, if they can manage a peaceful protest, I will say government should allow them to do it, as long as it's not hijacked like the SARS.
Yes.
But I think they have enough discipline to be able to control the situation. Well, protest is a legitimate democratic right, especially in the face of serious hardship, in which a ding-dong battle between government resolve and expectations of the people. So, I don't see any historical precedent. So, because this situation is unheard of. You get me now? People have always thought that the fuel subsidy
will never go. Yeah.
But then, Mark, what Jabiya Miller said, that they are facing serious forces. They asked him if they were more powerful than government. He said they are. So he said, so it's a ding-dong battle. It's a ding-dong battle, and we hope sanity will prevail, that violence will not hijack what is on the ground, because I said they should be involved in integrative collective bargaining, which at the end of the day it will be a win-win all for both government and the Labour. Labour would have been seen by its followership to have done its duty. Government too must have been seen to have listened to Labour and to put, government, my own view is to put the palliatives on the ground faster than it is doing so far.
Talking about integrative collective bargaining. I like that. Dynamics 101. Well, let's talk about, if the NLC agrees to, goes ahead with this peaceful protest tomorrow, that in itself would be a violation of a court order. The Federal Ministry of Justice has restated just yesterday its warning against the plan for the NLC to go on strike. So if we're looking at the obedience to the rule of law, wouldn't the NLC be, intentionally disobeying a court order if they go ahead with this protest?
That is the Dynamics 102 or 201. This is a give and take situation. You see, you can't be too rigid the way we are now. It's when two forces are staring at each other, and we want to have a sort of balance of terror. You get me now? You know my arsenal. I know your arsenal too. It just happened during the Cold War era. America, they know what they have. So you don't want to annihilate yourself. That is where we are now. You are in a state of fuel subsidy removal deterrence, mutual deterrence on the consequences of the removal of fuel subsidy. So there must be understanding, there must be maturity. You get me? And there must be responsibility on both sides. The other time I mentioned something about compassionate accountability. That is what is bound to happen now. We must understand our president, bear with him. At the same time, Labour must be allowed to express his leadership and his rights. But Labour too must know that in terms of having political stability, his own freedom ends where our dose begins, because we all have a stake.